Hello, welcome to David of a David Ramble On.
I'm David Bradley.
And I'm Dave Jackson.
Let's ramble on, shall we?
Hello to you, and welcome back to you for being off for
I've been gone for a little while.
Yeah.
One week for a legitimate reason, the other week just for work.
Yeah, so. Well, work can be argued to be
I guess they're both legitimate reasons. one week for a fun reason.
Yeah, for a fun reason,
yes.
Yeah. And obviously, in between that time as well, we've gone from Fridays to the Wednesday slot now.
Yeah, so. I was very confused. I was just lying in my bed, and you were like, "Hey, get up, we got a show to do." Like, oh.
Well, we know. What would you do if you didn't have me to tell you what to do?
Sleep.
And yes, so we're on the Wednesdays at 8 to 10 p.m. on both streams as well.
Yeah.
And so coming up today, we'll be getting our usual TV film, as well as getting our sort of chat about topics, as well as talking about obviously Waiting for Godot that you were in. That's one of the reasons why you were off. And also, we do have an announcement as well today. We can probably let them wait a little bit for that, can't we?
Yeah.
So.
And who did we just have there? You forgot again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about. So there we had the Hoosiers with.
No, you didn't.
What?
According to this,
the
enemy.
It was the enemy.
Boo.
We live and die in these towns.
You're bad at your job.
Just play the music.
Okay. This is Johnny Cash, Get Rhythm.
Are we recording that then?
Yeah, we're recording. This is in the recording now. This is going to make it so much harder for me to find the bits to cut.
And there we had the Go-Go Dolls.
Goo-Goo Dolls.
The Goo-Goo Dolls.
You're bad at this tonight.
I'm trying. I need to get back to it. But
you haven't been away.
Iris.
You haven't been away.
Well.
And before that, we had Johnny Cash, Get Rhythm.
Well, isn't it a show when I don't get things wrong? And so we're going to have our announcement now. Do you want to give the...
Who should give it away? We'll both go together. Okay, on 3, 2, 1. I'm pregnant.
And in other news, we're having a podcast.
I'm having a podcast.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
The doctor told me it was a boy.
Yes, and you'll be having it in about... an hour and a half time.
Yeah, whenever I get round to editing it.
Yeah.
It'll be tonight, don't worry.
Yes, but we are now going to have a podcast which will be on the site Podbean, and it'll be on D and OD Ramble
.podbean.com, I think it is.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and that's D and OD as in DANDOD.
Yeah. And so
I couldn't have picked a more awkward title if I tried.
Well, I'm sure we'll be sharing the links to them anyway when we get them. So remember, if you want to go and listen again to this show, or want to, well, if people want to tuning in now, hello. If you're tuning in, listening
or if you're an American who I know will be listening,
yes,
she better be.
Who we probably have to give the. Sort of what's the word?
The credit.
The credit.
It was her idea
for this.
She was the one who asked.
Yes.
yes. I'm not going to say a name because she didn't say mine on her show. Apparently, she might be doing that tonight because apparently the way they do it, they do the shout outs the week after, so that they're forced to listen.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. And so we're looking forward to sort of seeing how that will develop, and also how if we can sort of build up quite a good audience through that.
The podcast won't have the music on though. It'll just be us talking,
which probably protects us from legal reasons. As much as obviously it's easy,
but also it'll make less people want to listen.
Yeah.
But speaking of music, if you do have any requests, please send them to davids@ragradio.co.uk.
And you can also get in touch if you want to message us about anything that we talk about tonight. If you want to give a reaction to our podcast news, or you can also go to our Facebook by searching David and other David Ramble On, or you can also go and like the Rag Radio and Rag Radio Northeast pages.
Yes, indeed.
And so still to come, we'll be getting our funny news stories, which will be coming up next, and then we'll be getting our film and TV reviews. But get some more music now.
Yes, indeed. This is Stephen DeRosa, Old King. I love that show.
And so now it is time for our funny news stories.
Good heavens. Okay. This first one comes from BBC News. Hillary Clinton's Mercedes gets London parking fine.
Yeah.
A car used by former US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton received a ticket for parking 45 minutes in London without paying. It was an £80 fine. She was at an event at this house where she was receiving an award of some kind. The Clapham House Prize in recognition of her contribution to international diplomacy and work on behalf of gender equality.
Yeah.
And Westminster City Council have said, I'm sure she will understand that we have to be fair to everyone, regardless of their status on the world stage.
Yeah.
And good on these people. Well done, Westminster Council.
Yeah.
She didn't pay for parking. She should get the fine.
Yeah, she should do.
Doesn't matter who she is. My voice has gone really high there.
You're just getting back into it, aren't you?
Okay, so this is from Sky News. Kangaroo caught in Melbourne airport chemist.
Okay.
Passengers at an Australian airport got a shock when a kangaroo hopped into the terminal. The animal managed to get into a chemist shop in the terminal at Melbourne airport, bouncing down the aisles. Australian police and wildlife experts were called to deal with the kangaroo, believed to be a male eastern grey, which has become injured. Oh. No. I'm trying to find out what happened to him. Oh, he'd been hit by a car outside the terminal,
right.
But he's been taken for treatment.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll be all right.
It's like I don't know. It was quite.
Apparently they've called him Cyrus.
Yeah.
They're all over the place in Australia, from what I gather.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't say where he's going. I think he might. He's going to be all right. You know, he's been.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he'd been hurt, but if you, the folks at home can't see, but you can see. Look.
Oh.
Kangaroo. He's adorable, but he's in a chemist. Silly kangaroo. You don't belong in a chemist. No. Okay, and this last one comes from the Telegraph. Fright mobs hit Britain in time for Halloween.
No.
And it's a new craze, similar to flash mobbing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scroll down. Where a group assembles in public to perform a seemingly pointless act. That's a flash mob. But all those involved are in horror fancy dress with the fright mob.
Oh, right, okay.
What it is over Facebook or Twitter, you send it, and this comes from, it's something the makers of morph suits are doing.
Yeah.
And you send them a thing saying, nominating one of your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they send a bunch of people in Halloween costumes to scare them. Absolutely genius. Oh, someone's at the door.
Maybe it's them. That'd be really scary, actually. Then
I think that's really cool.
So those are our free news stories for today. I hope you enjoyed them. And so, coming up, we're getting our TV trivia question. Not the trivia.
Our trivia question.
Yeah, trivia question, and also then we talk about Waiting for Godot.
Yes, indeed. No, Waiting for Godot's first, then trivia question.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You made the schedule. Okay, this is Mud with the Tiger Feet medley. But we had Mud with the Tiger Feet medley.
Yes. And just for our Rag Radio listeners, obviously we do like you as well, because you also listen to Rag Radio and Rag Radio Northeast.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes, you put in the wrong jingle.
Well, it's an old one from the past. But anyway,
he's not doing well tonight, is he, folks?
It's because you're back. I can't cope with you being back.
I'm just effortlessly good, and it throws him off.
And so now we're going to be having talk about Waiting for Godot, which obviously you in a few weeks ago, about a week and a half.
Couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and so how did you think it went, first of all?
Pretty well.
Yeah.
Except for on the Friday night where the wine, cranberry juice, spilled all over the stage, and I slipped and laughed. Darn it.
Yeah.
And my mum said to me after, I never saw the wine spill. I thought you tripped over the rope.
Well, yeah, some people were saying afterwards that they thought the wine accident was sort of a mistake. And obviously they saw you laugh and they thought...
it was a mistake. Fortunately, it was a bit where I could just about get away with laughing.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have laughed. I couldn't help it.
No, but because I was, as I said before, I was able to see the Thursday one, and then they did Front of House on the Friday, and it's still really good how obviously both shows. Obviously the Friday was sold out, and then obviously the Thursday was
very nearly sold out.
Yeah, very nearly sold out, and it was still really good to see quite a lot of people and quite a lot of mixture actually.
Yeah.
I was probably expecting probably because there quite a lot of people that we knew.
And there were a few people there.
Yeah, and there were a few people that we knew, but I thought that they might have been like probably the main audience, but there was actually quite a lot of people.
There was a few old people. There was students from Uni of Liverpool.
Yeah.
There was a group of Norwegian students.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, that was good.
And they were talking the whole time.
Yeah, but and then obviously we had also a lecturer come as well.
Yes, one of our old lecturers came.
But yeah,
which is not that good because a bunch of them said they would come, but only one came.
Wow.
Weirdly enough, it's probably the one I was least expecting to come.
Yeah, I think so, isn't it? But I really enjoyed, especially because as you said before to me about how the play, how often you can see it, you can take different interpretations from it, and I certainly had sort of ones on the Thursday one, and then I had sort of, even though I kind of still had the same ones, I sort of then got new ones on the Friday one as well.
Well, I think seeing it repeated does give a big insight, because the play is all about repetition.
Yeah.
Everything in the second act is the same as in the first act, but different.
Yeah.
It's the same but different. It's very clever. But as I say, everything repeats for them constantly, for the characters in this play. And so if you see this play repeated, you begin to understand the repetition.
Yeah. Because I can kind of see, because often some people say it's limbo in the sense of, and I can kind of sort of see that because maybe it's like maybe it's the same day that's repeating itself, just with different kind of sort of actions that happen, or it's like, because I noticed obviously there's quite a lot of mention of sort of time and memory and stuff like that, so there's kind of that as well. But then my main thought I had, which was there for both nights, was about the characters being tied to each other, kind of in a way. So obviously you've got the kind of Vladimir and Estragon sort of tied to each other, even though they're kind of near opposites in a way, kind of.
I'm not sure about opposites, but they don't get along.
Yeah.
But at the same time, somehow they're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
It's the best way you can describe Vladimir and Estragon. They absolutely hate each other, but they love each other so much, and they could never leave. And
also you got Pozzo and Lucky, who are kind of needed on both sides of each other, I think, really. Because the Pozzo kind of sort of needs Lucky to be its slave, basically. But I don't know, not quite sure. I think Lucky probably does need Pozzo kind of to be its.
There is one theory I very much like about Lucky, which is the reason he's called Lucky.
Yeah.
Is that he is the luckiest character in the play.
Yeah.
Because he's the only one who's not waiting for anything.
No.
He's the only one who just has his lot in life and just goes with it.
Yeah.
Everyone else is wanting something better, or trying to remember times when it was better.
Yeah.
I very much like that idea.
I do like, because in the play how Lucky has his speech, which is kind of maybe. I don't know, kind of something of like suppression of thoughts or something, and when it's like allowed, it all comes out, and it's sort of, that was a bit I really liked in the play. That sort of a thing of the person who's playing it, Sophie, sort of how she did it, and also how you all and sort of react to that as well.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun putting that together.
Yeah, because so what do you think's your? Well, do you have a favourite bit of it, or do you?
Every bit's my favourite.
Yeah.
Literally, because we had to cut a few sections of the script out here and there.
Yeah.
Just for time, otherwise it would have been about 3 hours long. And literally nearly every single bit. There was one line I didn't like, but nearly every single bit I was like, "No, you can't cut that. No, you can't cut that. That's the best bit. No, that's the best bit. They're all the best bit."
Yeah.
But I suppose some of my very favourite moments again. The bits at the very end of each act where it's very, very sad and very, it's quite tender between the two characters. Those bits really speak to me quite well. But also a lot of the funny bits, like the bits where I have to eat a carrot, and I took too big a bite of the carrot on both nights and just had to chew for ages.
Yeah. Then also I like the sort of. The bits that I think people there are certain bits that people know, like for instance where you are insulting each other.
Yes, the insults.
The insults.
I love the insults.
And that sort of bit as well. And it's kind of, as you're saying with the serious bits, I kind of sort of like that, how like that kind of brings it down and allows it to kind of come back to quite a sort of a serious thing, from sort of what the comedy that comes into it. And as it's sort of like, I mean, you have like it was really good comedy, especially you have like basically you have to drop your trousers basically.
Yeah, I did drop my trousers. And the interesting thing is meant to be, it's absolutely hilarious. I dropped my trousers, but it's at the saddest bit of the play.
Yeah.
It's at the bit where Vladimir has given up hope.
Yeah.
And Estragon he just doesn't understand, and suddenly just like, no, drop your trousers. Oh, okay. It's very funny.
Yeah. But I think it's a really good production. I think it's also a good one as the first production of
Big Teeth.
Yes. I mean, it's good that they obviously chose this play, which obviously is kind of well known and will be quite recognised, as
Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen are doing it in America right now.
Yeah.
That's how big it is.
And I think I think one thing I also liked was, as I know it wasn't kind of intentional, but so the way the set was, obviously you had all of it apart from the tree is black and the tree
what do you mean
white.
It wasn't intentional? you think that wasn't intentional? I think that might have been very intentional on our part.
I've been told. I've been told. But anyway,
don't make us sound bad.
No. I think that's always
if people
good.
liked it was intentional.
Yeah, no, I like. Yeah. I think that's always good when that kind of thing can happen.
If people liked it, we meant to do it.
Yeah. So overall, it's a really good production.
Thank you very much. I was very happy to be a part of it, and yes. I for one am not quite ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
I can't say anything more than that, but I'm not ready for it to be over.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And so coming up next we'll be getting our trivia questions, and then coming up later we'll be getting our film and TV reviews.
Yes, indeed. And this is Hugh Laurie, The Whale Has Swallowed Me.
So there was the Saturdays with Missing You.
And before that we had Hugh Laurie with The Whale Has Swallowed Me.
And now we're going to be having our trivia questions.
Yes, indeed.
Do you want to go first?
Why do I go first? Since when do I go first?
Well, I'll go first then.
Is this a new Wednesday night thing? Whoa.
Well, we're trying new things.
Maybe you are.
But my question today relates to the film Back to the Future. And my question is, what was the town that the McFly family lived in?
Oh, that's a good question. And my question is, of course, related to Waiting for Godot.
Of course.
And I will say that there was a version of Waiting for Godot filmed for Channel 4 in 2001.
Yeah.
And it's just the best version ever. And I know that me and Joel, who played Vladimir, took a lot of inspiration from this version.
Yeah.
And so my question is, name the two actors that gave me and Joel such inspiration playing Vladimir and Estragon.
Okay, so remember, if you want to get in touch with those answers, then you can email us at davids@ragradio.co.uk, or you can also find us on Facebook by going to David and Other David Ramble On.
Yes,
and remember, obviously, if you are listening to the podcast, we would have already revealed the answer by the end of the show. But you can probably still message in if you want. And then we'll be so we'll be reading it later on in the show, and coming up we'll be getting our film reviews, I think, next.
Yes.
And so should we go again to some more music?
Yes, and it's the Tom Waits pick of the week. I haven't been able to get excited about a Tom Waits song in a
So there was Take That with Rule
with Rule of the World. And before that was Tom Waits, I Don't Want to Grow Up.
Yes, of course, our Tom Waits pick of the week.
Yes, have to have the Tom Waits song every week.
Even when you're not here.
Yeah. Otherwise I wouldn't do the show.
And so now we're going to our film reviews, and you think you've got 3 this week?
Yes, 3. First is Filth, which is excellent. 5 stars. Best film of the year so far, in my opinion.
Now, this is the book that you've been reading also, isn't it?
Yes, it is an adaptation of the Irvine Welsh book about a corrupt policeman who is alcoholic, drug addicted, insane. It's a very, very nasty film.
Yeah.
It pulls no punches. Actually, in some ways, it kind of does. It changes a lot of things from the book, but it kind of had to.
Mm.
And most of the stuff, I'm absolutely fine with the changes they made. You know, it's to make it into a film. You have to change something, particularly this book. If they tried to do it as it was in the book, it would be pretty much unfilmable. So I'm happy they made the changes. A lot of it worked. There's a couple of things here or there that, as a film, it's okay.
Yeah.
As an adaptation, it's there's a few things that smack just a little bit too much of trying to redeem the main character, and he has earned no redemption. He is foul. I hate this main character.
Mm.
But I love hating him, and I feel a lot of pity for him. He's a very pathetic character.
Mm.
It's a fantastic book, and it's a fantastic film. I would definitely recommend them both, but at the same time, not for the squeamish. And then, what was the second one? Yes, Machete Kills, which is the follow-up to, I can't remember what year it came out, but Machete, which was a grindhouse film with Danny Trejo as the star. I love Danny Trejo. You may know him as the guy who got his head blown up as a tortoise in Breaking Bad. Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a very silly film about Mexican immigrants and, Machete, who kills people with machetes.
Yeah.
And he don't text. Machete don't text. But yeah, the first film was okay, but it was a bit too political. It was trying to be too political with all the immigration stuff, trying to take itself too seriously. And this one has done away with that. But it's not very good. For starters, there's CGI blood for all the blood effects in this, and that is so annoying. Because one of the actors in this is one of the greatest practical effects people in the business. So why not use him? You can't call yourself a grindhouse film if you have CGI blood. It just doesn't work that way. But also, it just goes downright goofy with setting up the sequel, which is going to be Machete Kills Again in Space.
Okay.
Which, even though I didn't really like this film that much, I'm totally going to go see. And Mel Gibson's the bad guy, and he's got a rocket, and he likes space, and they end up going into space at the end. I don't know. Charlie Sheen's the president.
Yeah.
It's just kind of boring. It's a real shame because I was hoping it was going to be really good. And I also saw Sunshine on Leith, which I really didn't like. It's a musical based on the songs of the Proclaimers. I know 2 Proclaimers songs.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time I couldn't understand what they were singing.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't. It wasn't the sound mixing was pretty bad, and you couldn't hear the words all of the time, which is, kind of important in a musical.
Yeah.
The performances were pretty except for Jane Horrocks and Peter Mullen, who were actually quite good. I've got to give them that they were good. I like Jane Horrocks, and Peter Mullen always seems to be fun in anything I see him in, so I like him too. But just not a very good film.
It's not one of those that's gone. Is it film first and then? No,
it was on the stage for a while.
Yeah.
Quite underground though. Not a big thing.
Yeah, I've
it's a very, very indie one, pretty much only in Scotland, I think.
Yeah, probably. So, are there any films you're looking forward to seeing?
The Fifth Estate is out at the moment, and that's probably, I don't know, it's about the WikiLeaks thing, and Benedict Cumberbatch is the main character in it.
Yeah.
And also the other main character is the guy who played Niki Lauda in Rush, and he's very good, so yeah, that should be interesting. And Escape Plan comes out this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone breaking out of a prison. I'm very excited. Okay. This is Blondie, One Way or Another.
So there was Remy Zero with Save Me.
And before that we had Blondie with One Way or Another.
And now we're having our topic of discussion for today.
Yes, and I'm very intrigued because on the document you gave me, it just says reality.
Well, what I'm sort of questioning is, because in my young actors at the moment, we're looking at sort of technology, but we're also looking at sort of reality and what would kind of happen if you fell out of your own reality, or you went into another one, or you sort of like what sort of defines your reality, and that's kind of sort of what I'm as I'm asking you here, like, is reality to you just basically, just you in your room, or is it basically everything that's in the world, basically, kind of thing?
I don't really know. This is a big question. What is reality to me? I suppose reality depends entirely on what situation you're in.
Because I kind of think, because often, they're saying, can obviously, with the way we interact with technology now and stuff like that, our reality is kind of sort of into the online sphere as well. So our reality involves Facebook, Twitter, vlogging, blogging, all this stuff.
Internet
like this.
radios.
Yeah, internet radios and all this stuff like this. Like this sort of reality. But then I kind of think, because reality is probably quite a personal thing to each of us, because, for instance, like the stuff I've done today will be different from the stuff you've done today
considerably,
and I won't know what you've done unless you tell me. And it's like that own reality is you, because you've done that, and you only know what other people do because they tell you, and so that's the reality that you have.
And then that draws into the question from you of, is that real, what they did? Because I didn't know. You could be lying.
yeah.
You could be saying you wrestled a tiger. Or you could just be saying you went to shops and you actually wrestled a tiger. I want to wrestle a tiger.
We'll save that for another time.
Live on air.
But you're sort of right in that kind of thing of, obviously, some people then they can be like say, if you say, so what have you done today, and they might be like, well, I've done this one thing, but I'm not going to tell you about this other thing because maybe it's not something that I want to tell you, or it's something that I don't want to worry you about, or something like that. And it can kind of sort of be like, are you constantly constructing a sort of a different version of yourself in a different reality kind of sense, really.
I see that. Also, what I'm into when I say that, how do I know what you do is real when you're away, is how do I know that you think in the same way that I think? How do I know that the way you experience the world might be different? I don't know if you have thoughts in the same way that I have thoughts. It is actually something that scares me. The idea that what if I'm the only one with these thoughts? I don't know. I'm probably just being very silly, but at times I get very scared at the thought of everyone having individual thoughts and it all being so complicated.
Yeah.
And I'll never experience all of it.
No. Well, I mean, I think it's often like that. I mean, obviously, right now across the world, there are obviously over 7 billion people and stuff like this, and all these sort of different lifestyles and different languages and all this stuff like this that make up all these sort of different realities. And maybe that's kind of, I mean, you can have a reality as a group of people. For instance, us sharing a house, we kind of have a shared reality of when people come and stay, or when we've spent time in the living room together and stuff like that. It's that kind of shared reality in that sort of sense, and especially obviously if we go on, if we need to tell everyone else something and we put it on Facebook, or it gets around by word of mouth in a way. And it's kind of sort of that interesting thing of how when we're kind of by ourselves and there's nowhere else around, and it's kind of like it's just you in that space, and it's like as though everyone else kind of stops, although they don't. But it kind of.
So what you're saying is that Monty Python was right when Eric Idle had the Galaxy song saying about how small and insignificant we all are.
Yeah.
He was completely right. I knew it. I always knew Monty Python were right.
I wouldn't say. I mean, we might be small in terms of the universe as a whole and all that stuff like that. I wouldn't say we weren't significant. I'd say each person is significant in a way. In sort of, I mean, everyone.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, like, I'm significant to my parents, my friends, my colleagues, and all this stuff like this. It doesn't have to be significant as in you are, let's say, a member of the royal family, or a celebrity, or someone who
not significant. The royal family aren't significant,
or someone who discovers penicillin or something. That kind of sort of where it's kind of that.
Well, actually, a couple of the people who discovered penicillin were pretty insignificant, because it was discovered about twice before Alexander Fleming did, but no one knows who by. Because I can't remember.
No. But Yeah, I think often it's just about us creating what we see and think about reality, and often that can then either be something that maybe isn't real to someone else, but then often it can be real to someone else as well. Kind of thing.
So reality is what you make it. Let's listen to some music.
Yes.
This is the Blues Brothers Band with Wilson Pickett, Eddie Floyd and Johnny Lang. 6345789.
So there was the fray with How to Save a Life.
And before that we had the Blues Brothers Band with Wilson Pickett, Eddie Floyd and Johnny Lang. 6345789. It's a long thing to say.
And breathe. And so now having our TV talk. I'm going to first of all talk about the series Orange is the New Black, which is the Netflix original.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
And it's I've really enjoyed it. I've actually been able to see the whole series now, and has been commissioned for a second one. And it's sort of really good how they there's quite a big cast in it, but they work well to actually be able to really develop all the characters. I think obviously some of them are probably going to be developed more in the second series, but it's good how they've often done this thing of they focus on sort of one character in each episode, but obviously you still have sort of the main character storyline it's still going throughout, and that really works together, and also then for them to sort of interact and quite kind of sort of show sort of how the prison system works in America and all this stuff like this. And then I wanted to talk about this new documentary by Stephen Fry, which is Stephen Fry Out There.
Oh yes, I hear very good things about that.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's only been one episode at the moment, but I know it's going to be a great series because basically Stephen Fry is exploring sort of attitudes to being gay and sort of how it's sort of treated in our country and in other countries, and sort of looking at sort of how obviously kind of how sort of kind of positive we mainly are about it, and in talking to like Elton John, who sort of came out in the 70s and was sort of him and his partner were the first people to get a civil partnership and all this stuff like this.
Yeah.
And then he talked to an asylum seeker who was came to Britain because if he went home he would be hanged for being gay, and his friends have sort of been in danger for that. And then he's gone to Uganda, and obviously there they want to sort of put the death penalty with that as well. And he's sort of, you can tell there's a difference in him though while he's doing this, because often Stephen Fry, he's very passionate. I mean, he's passionate in this, but he's very passionate and upbeat and about the stuff that he does.
Just normally you see him being funny.
Stephen Fry, and this is obviously this is him. He's still passionate because he has a really good go at these people who are going, no, gay is wrong. It's causes diseases and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But you can tell there's a sort of really somber and it's really sort of touchy thing. Obviously, it is very personal to him. Obviously it is, but you can sort of really tell with this, and it's quite a good thing to sort of see this difference in him, really. And I've sort of really enjoying it, and I'm hoping to see how the rest of it will go on, really. And then my last one today, I'm going to be talking about Atlantis, which is it's had its third episode now, and it's from the makers of Merlin. And it's basically fantasy. Atlantis, it's this guy from modern day is sort of gone to search for his father underwater, ends up going for this sort of gateway into another realm where is Atlantis, and basically they're looking, I think what probably will be most of the first series will be them looking obviously at the major myths and legends and sort of the time, Greek myths and Roman and all this stuff like this, and the kind of they've already introduced Hercules and they've had Medusa, but they're not the people that you have from the myths. At least Medusa isn't at the moment, and that's quite a good thing to have sort of a change from that. Hercules, he's sort of a womanizer. He's not like the athletical, sort of godlike being that they kind of have in the myth. Or Medusa isn't like the snake-haired person. She's human at the moment. But it was quite interesting to see how the main character Jason will sort of develop. There seems to be a thing of he's very important to the place, and so there's obviously that's probably the main thing going through the series.
You say he's called Jason.
Yeah. Well,
are they going to be some Argonauts?
I don't know at the moment. I don't know what's going on.
You hadn't even thought of that, had you?
No,
Jason and the Argonauts.
Yeah, I mean, we've had the Minotaur. I mean, we've had latest episode had bull leaping in it as well. So yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to seeing how the rest of it develop. I think that's it for me today. I think.
I suppose I've got a few things to talk about. One, Boardwalk Empire it hasn't actually come back here yet. I've been a bit naughty and watched the American release. Yes, but it's in its fourth series. It's 6 episodes in now, and it's absolutely great. I love this show. For me, this is one of the most subtly good shows on TV. It's absolutely brilliant, but not that many people watch it.
Yeah.
And it's just it's all around wonderful performances. It's set in the 1920s, and so you get all the cool period dress and you get all the cool music. And the performances. Steve Buscemi is the main guy, and he's always excellent. You have Michael K. Williams as Chalky White, and he's one of my favourite characters on TV ever.
Yeah.
And I don't know the actor's name actually, but he plays Steve Buscemi's character's brother in it, and I've come to the conclusion that he is subtly the best character on TV. Yeah, but probably not really, but it's one of the best performances. Cause he doesn't give a lot away, but when he does sort of crack a bit, it's like, very, very good show. And then I've shot through all 4 series of Archer. Archer is so funny.
Yeah,
it's a cartoon about this spy agency, ISIS, and its the main character of it is Sterling Archer. Whose mother runs the spy agency, which is pretty much the only reason he's a spy. But he's actually quite competent. But he's also a drunken, womanising idiot. And the thing I love about the show is that they never forget anything. Like all the running jokes, they just keep going.
That's good.
Little things like, people will fire guns like too close to someone's ears, and it'll be like and they'll go a bit deaf for a while. And so, as of about partway through series 3, Archer keeps complaining that he now has tinnitus because people keep firing guns up near him. And there's one episode where he thinks he's going to die from breast cancer. It's funny. And he gets the name of the baby that isn't actually his, but everyone thinks it's his, and so he has to pay child support for. It's a long story there. He gets the name of the baby tattooed on it, so he's got Seamus tattooed on his back, and then later on he gets another name tattooed on his back in that episode as well, Dickie. And any other show you would think, they'd be gone by the end of the episode. They're there still. This is like, that's good. He got them in like series 2, and they're still there by the end of series 4. They're still going to be there when series 5 starts in January. And it's absolutely hilarious. And it's what I basically didn't know about it until a housemate showed me, and then just I was with it forever. And also I've been watching Under the Dome, which is the adaptation of the Stephen King book. I haven't finished it yet, but I'm kind of liking elements of it.
I have been meaning to see it, but I've been hearing mixed views on it basically. So
everyone else likes it. I don't, because I've read the book. But no, the thing is, though, I kind of like it a bit more now that it has just sort of completely ignored the book. Because I can just go, it's not an adaptation of the book. Fine. I doesn't have to. But it's the changes they made to a lot of the characters that really annoy me. Some of the ones that are like the Big Jim, who's played by Dean Norris. He's absolutely great. He goes from being sort of nice, the guy, like helping people around the town or whatever, to being very suddenly sinister. And he got to kill a guy in a really cool way. The mysterious dome that has covered the town. It like shorts out electrical devices and stuff, and so like one guy went too near it and his pacemaker exploded, and so there's this guy. He has like a hearing aid. And so Dean Norris just sort of shoves his ear up against the dome and it kills him. That was really cool. So it has good elements, but overall I'm still kind of annoyed. I kind of think their adaptation process went like this. Okay, we need to follow the book perfectly so that we can stay true to the characters and everything. But it's really long. You're right. Let's make stuff up.
Well, still to come, we're getting our dramatic reading and also answers to the trivia questions.
Yes, and we might play some games if we have time as well. So, this is Professor Longhair, Big Chief.
There was Show a Crow with I Shall Believe.
And before that was Professor Longhair with Big Chief.
And now we're having our dramatic reading, which today will be be performed in a voice that you've chosen, which again?
Yes, the voice is William Shatner today.
So go ahead, William.
Okay, this is from A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. And it goes like this. If we shadows have vended, think but this, and all is mended, that you have but slumbered here while these visions did appear, and this weak and idle theme no more yielding but a dream. Gentles, do not reprehend. If you pardon, we will mend, and as I am an honest buck, if we have unearned luck now to escape the serpent's tongue, we will make amends ere long, else the puck a liar call. And so, good night unto you all. Give me your hands if we be friends, and Robin shall restore amends. It went a bit walking at times, but I liked it. I enjoyed it. Shatner's a fun one to do.
And there was William Shatner there for you.
Yes. The worst captain of the Starship Enterprise ever. The nerds are going to... No, I like Captain Kirk. I'm just saying, from a military standpoint, he's not a very good captain.
Causing controversy all the time.
Yeah. So this is Ram Jam, Black Betty.
There was Westlife with Safe.
And before that we had Ram Jam with Black Betty.
And now we're going to be having the answers to the trivia question.
Yes. And your question was?
My question was, what was the town that the family, the McFly family, lived in Back to the Future?
Yes, and we had answers.
Yes, of course.
Very detailed answers from our American friend who asked for a podcast whose name I said I won't say. Haha. Okay, and but first, well, I must have phrased it badly because you said town just now, and on the thing I just said, where did they live?
Yeah.
And so she said, do you want neighbourhood or town? Town is Hilldale, but the neighbourhood varies depending on the time period. And she says, in 1955 they're Sycamore Street, in 1985 they're Lion Estates, and in 2015 they're Oakhurst Street. Although she says she might be wrong on the last one because it has been about 2 months since she last watched the whole trilogy. So she's a little bit rusty.
Well, I think actually the answer I might be the area. I think like sort of because it's the one I've got is Hill Valley.
Hill Valley.
Yeah.
Oh. You might be wrong, American friend whose name I'm not going to say.
But what was yours again?
My question was, which actors played Vladimir and Estragon in the 2001 on-film version for Channel 4 of Waiting for Godot?
Now, the first name of one of that I'm thinking of is one of them called Zero.
No. Oh, you're thinking of the other version. You're thinking of the one from the 60s with Sierra Mistell and Burgess Meredith.
Yeah, it's because he posted so many. I've been
Well, the one I'm talking about is my absolute favourite version, and it's Barry McGovern as Vladimir and Johnny Murphy as Estragon. So,
and it's also sort of what we want to do now is sort of quite a new feature.
We're going to quickly play a little game.
Yeah, okay.
And the game is called Sequels to Films That Really Shouldn't Have Sequels.
Yeah.
And so, I'm going to start things off with the obvious one of Schindler's List 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Mine one is going to be Scary Movie, The Christmas Special.
Oh, I like it. Trouble is, I only thought of one.
I've got also American Pie, The Bake Off.
I'm suddenly reading. There's suddenly no film titles.
I was just thinking of one for Rush Hour.
Die Hard 6. Will this franchise ever die hard? A good, we've had Die Hard, Die Harder, Die Hard with a Vengeance, Live Free or Die Hard, A Good Day to Die Hard. So only the good Die Hard.
Yeah.
Get Rich or Die Hard. Good and Lazy. That's me referencing something else entirely.
The Terminator Fights Back.
The Terminator Fight Club.
Fight Club.
Terminator Fight Club. You'd watch that movie, you know
it. Cars and trains.
Well, with cars, they already did planes.
Yeah.
So trains can't be far behind. Let's face it. Okay. So we're gonna go now.
Yep. So this is it for me today. I hope you have
from you.
Yeah.
From us.
Well, I hope you have enjoyed listening. Make sure you go and have a look at our podcast and go and listen again. We'll be putting the links up later on tonight onto our Facebook, and also and hopefully we'll be mentioning it obviously next week. So I hope you have enjoyed this show. And this is it for me. And
again, just it from you.
Well, no, because I'm waiting for you to do the thing.
I'm David Bradley.
And I'm David Jackson.
And let's ramble off with the sweet Ballroom Blitz.
She's back on.
How do I stop recording? Do I just stop?
Yeah.